So we're excited, but so is British #1 Laura Robson. Laura, morning to you. It's lovely to have you on the sofa. My first thing to you was just scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you? Because I think for lay people, you kind of look and you just think this is a brilliant woman, how she done it, and you're in awe, but you know what it's like.
Yeah, I should say that Emma is now British #1 after this tournament. With the way that she's played, she's now won so many matches coming through qualifying, the first qualifier ever to reach a Grand Slam final. And I just can't believe how incredible she's played, but also her behaviour. It's just been way beyond her years. It looks like she's been in that position time and time again. And it just looks like she's meant to be on the biggest stages in tennis. So I am buzzing for the final tonight. I've got my hopes up. I feel like she might do it with the way that she's been playing and how well she's been hitting the ball and just taking the time away from her opponents as well. It's just been unplayable for the last few matches. So fingers crossed. I have a really good feeling about it.
Laura, as someone who's played at the highest level yourself, how hard is it to have that level of composure that she has, and you get those little glimpses as she's playing shots where she does the fist pump and then she's back on, but playing with a smile. A lot of people have talked about this. There's an active enjoyment in the moment she's in. Now, given the pressure in international tennis, the higher up you go, the more the pressure. How hard is it to have that kind of demeanour?
Really difficult. You know, only a few people really have that inner belief where they feel like they can close out matches the way that she has been. And to play in the last 2 rounds specifically, quarterfinals and semi-finals, players ranked much higher than her, I think has been fun because there's been no pressure, no expectation. She's not been the favourite and the crowd has really been behind the underdog for the whole tournament. So I think, you know, she's playing exactly the way you hope a young player does, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to pull it off the way that she has been. And yeah, as you say, it just looks like she's had the best fun in New York. I think all the pressure that she had at Wimbledon a couple of weeks ago is not the same level when you're playing a Grand Slam abroad. It doesn't feel the same, it feels more enjoyable, and I think the New York crowds have really lifted her in a way that we haven't seen before. They've just loved the battle of the teenagers.
You were looking at all these stats, looking at the youngest players to have made finals and everything. It's been how long? It's been a really long time.
Yeah, it was a curious one. There was a list of the youngest ever, men and women, and you go through the list, and one of the really significant things that struck me was, I think, that there's been 16 years since a teenager has done what she's done. And I'm assuming that over that period of time, all players, men and women, have got stronger, more physically fit. So it's just that much harder to come in when you're young, inexperienced, and match physicality with expertise and wisdom on the court. Just feels that must be harder than ever, but she's doing it anyway. Yeah,
I think the difference is that her matches have been short because she's hit people off the court and she's played far less than her opponent today in terms of getting to the final, even though she's played 3 more matches in qualifying. So she's not really been pushed to third set yet. She hasn't lost a set. She's not even been pushed to a tie-break. And I think that's really helping her body recover, that she's able to kind of get off the court pretty quickly, just hit people off the court and have enough time before her next match to come back and be really, really fresh.
Because I'm just thinking, I'm remembering now, Martina Hingis was 16 when she won her first title, Grand Slam title. And I think a lot of people have said, well, that kind of thing can't happen now. You know, that's a long time ago and things have evened up and it's just harder.
Well, it can happen. We're seeing it tonight.
Because we're watching it unfold, but that's the joy of it, isn't it?
You train with her, don't you? Or you have trained with her?
We have in the past, yeah.
And when she hit the ball at you, did you kind of like... Because you're saying she's hitting people off the court. I mean, she's not literally hitting people off the court. But when she hits the ball at you, when you were training with her, did you think she's got something?
Absolutely. I think everyone in British tennis has seen it for years.
And what is it?
It's the way that she takes the ball early. It's the topspin that she gets on the ball while still hitting it on the rise and taking the time away from her opponent. And all those things put together has been how she's played over the last 3 weeks. And you can see in the matches that her opponents are just not really getting into the rally, but it also helps that Emma's a fantastic mover around the court. For her age, she can get a lot stronger still. There's so much room for improvement, I think, in terms of physicality because she's so young still. But, you know, she's also got a great head on her shoulders. I just keep gushing about her. I can't believe how well she's played it over the last 3 weeks, and I think to do it after all the pressure at Wimbledon and what happened there in the 4th round is just unbelievable.
I think maybe we're going to hear a bit more about this because we're going to go to a tennis club this morning in just a moment. But what I'm hearing already from some of the youngsters is they're saying, I don't know, if they're 11 or 12, she's only 6 years older than me. You know, it feels like within their grasp. They're maybe used to seeing older champions and they're going, she's only a little bit older than me. And it makes it so much more real.
It does, and I think it's been so fun to watch. And even her opponent today, Fernandez, the Canadian, I've enjoyed watching her so much, the way that she's engaged with the crowd for her age. And both players tonight, I think, have just really looked like they've enjoyed themselves over, you know, very high-pressure situations in quarterfinals and semi-finals, where you see players much, much older than them not really enjoy it in the same way. And that's what makes it so fun to watch, that it's so fresh for them.
Charlie's got pizza ordered for when he's watching it. That's his plan. How are you going to be watching it?
Well, I'm going to be commentating it on 5 Live.
How are you going to control yourself?
I've got to say, I think I'm going to be a bit biased, perhaps, but I think very understandable.
Oh, enjoy it. It's going to be brilliant. Thank you so much, Laura. It's good to talk to you.